What's up, y'all? Welcome into the Wombo Combo Show. I'm Ben Kepler. Solo dolo today, but that's just fine. We're going to be hanging out today. I'm going to be doing a little bit of a free agency grade. If you're joining me there on YouTube, you're going to be able to see it on screen. If you're with me on TikTok, we're going to do our best to flip the screen around and give you guys the ability to see what's going on. Unfortunately, TikTok doesn't always agree with me, so going live from our studio doesn't seem to always be a possibility. But yeah, that's what we're doing today, guys. We're going to be doing a free agency grade for every single one of the NFL teams and what they've done so far. And maybe as we go, kind of take a look at what possibly might be coming up in the draft for them. I am more than welcome to hearing from you guys and what you guys think about everything as we go along. I'm going to give my grades, but let's see what we do. What up, Pink? Glad you're in here, bro. Hope you're having a good day. Anyways, we're going to flip the camera around here, so you're not going to see me anymore. It's okay if you want to. Go on YouTube. I'm live on there as well, and you'll get the full experience. Unfortunately, like I said, TikTok doesn't like me that much. Anyways, so what we're going to be doing, we're going to be doing our grading for each one of the teams for this year. You'll get a little bit of my keyboard here in the background. We're going to go alphabetical order. That's the way that I kind of wanted to go about this for today. What up, Red, my boy? You can see my reflection in the TV. What's up, brother? Hope you're having a good day. Like I said, if you guys want to see the full experience, we're live on YouTube as well. But let's get started. Let's take a look at what we've got, what we want to do, and who we've got for what positions. I've got a lot of different things I want to say about different things. But anyways, let's dive in. First, we're obviously going to be taking a look at the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona Cardinals had a couple of good additions throughout the offseason. I don't really love that Jacoby Brissett is potentially the starting quarterback for the team. So it's a pretty low grade on my end. They can't reach the B level without a quarterback. I mean, that's kind of where the Steelers are at as well, my team. What I have for them, you have Tyler Algier signing. That's a good replacement for them. I don't know if James Conner continues with the team. You've got Isaac Seumalo coming over from the Steelers to play guard. He is very good when he is healthy. When he is healthy is the key word on that. And then last but not least, adding Kendrick Bourne and then Andrew Wingard, safety and a wide receiver there. These are both fill-in spot players, both kind of transition players into the next guy that they bring in from the draft. What I would say for them is because we can't give them a B with no quarterback, we are going to give them a decent C grade, but that doesn't matter because they're going to be in contention for that number one pick, and that's how we're grading today. We're grading off contention. So, I mean, they're in contention, that's for sure, but it's for the number one pick for the Arizona Cardinals, unfortunately. I don't say anything that was really a splash play. The best thing being Tyler Algier, and I can't say that I necessarily love Tyler Algier. Mediocre at best. Okay, if you're saying mediocre at best, that's what Red's saying. He's saying they maybe deserve to be up here. They aren't young and intriguing. We can all admit to that. Don't really seem very young and intriguing. At best, the wide receiver core is young and intriguing. I'm going to keep them here, and that's just because we got Jacoby Brissett potentially being the starting quarterback and then potentially purposely going for a losing season. Next on the list, boys and girls, I guess, if any ladies are watching today, we have the Atlanta Falcons. Now, for the Atlanta Falcons, they added Tua. Woohoo. That's like their biggest move. That's like their only move, I think, in free agency off the top of my brain. Do I like that move? Maybe a little bit. Maybe like a smidge. And the reason why I like it a smidge is because they have a left-handed quarterback who is injured and isn't going to be able to play this season. And maybe not. He's not going to be able to play at least for the beginning of the season. Maybe working into the middle of the season, he'll be able to return. So with that, with Penix being out and with them trying to stay with a left-handed quarterback to still progress throughout the season until they get Penix back, I'm going to give this team a mediocre at best. Mediocre at best. I don't see the Atlanta Falcons going any farther than maybe an 8-9 this season. Do they have the pieces? Yes. I think the missing piece is quarterback. They thought maybe a mixture of Cousins and a left-handed Penix could be it, and it's obviously not. Anyways, would you say Saints potential wild card? Okay, hope for the universe. We'll see. We'll see about all that. I don't know. Next, though, I do have the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore Ravens Not a lot of moves this offseason, specifically with the reason why I'm throwing shade, the Max Crosby thing. Everything that they did now seems less because of the whole Max Crosby situation, right? Did they go get Trey Hendrickson? Yes. Is that a cheaper deal because they keep their first-round draft picks? Yes. Do they look slimy? Yeah, they look really slimy, to be completely honest. I don't think anybody's going to be trading with the Baltimore Ravens anytime in the near future. But John Simpson coming back from the Jets, originally on the team, a good guard. I do like this ad. Trey Hendrickson, obviously the cheaper option, like we just mentioned a moment ago. Don't hate it, don't love it. Think he's kind of past his prime, if I'm being honest there. And then adding Jalen Hawkins at safety and bringing back Chidobe, Chidobe Awuzie. Sorry, I had to get that one out there. These are meh moves. I don't see anything that's a splash in any way, shape, or form. Awuzie will end up playing the outside on somebody fast. Jalen Hawkins sure had a couple interceptions, was decent for the Patriots, was decent for the Falcons. I don't think he's amazing. He's probably a backup depth piece. I'm giving them a grade of B through the free agency, maybe a B plus at best, and it's because of their sliminess. But if we're talking about where they're going to be this next year, whether it's potential wild card or it's going to be playoff team, I think because of the new head coach there, they are going to be a playoff team. They are not going to be a Super Bowl contender, but they will be a playoff team. I think they're more of a playoff team than, let's see if I can get more of the screen, and I didn't realize I was that far back. Sorry, boys. There we go. Anyways, I don't see them as much of a Super Bowl contending threat this season, personally. Next on my list, going in alphabetical order, obviously, was the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills, they traded Teron Johnson instead of getting rid of him. Maybe that's an okay move because you acquire, like a 6th-round pick instead of a 7th. Whoop-de-doo. Also, maybe you save some money on the cap by trading him. They added Bradley Chubb 4 minutes after he was released, and I thought that was a good ad. What up, LG? My boy, how you doing this afternoon? But 4 minutes after he was released by the Miami Dolphins, he was signed by the Buffalo Bills. I really do like that signing. I like them signing C.J. Gardner-Johnson as well. I think that was a pretty good ad. Getting rid of Teron Johnson, though, other than for money purposes, I kind of find that it was silly. I do like the Connor McGovern re-signing as well. Where am I putting them for this year? I honestly think that we could bounce them kind of like the Ravens as well. If I'm going to be, set them in stone, I think they're going to be a Super Bowl contender in this next coming season. I think the addition of DJ Moore for that 2nd-round pick was awesome. I think he's going to be great for them. Josh Allen, never going to be a Super Bowl contender. Well, that's coming from a Jets fan, though, ain't it? That's coming from a Jets fan. We got to take that with a grain of salt, don't we? Let me see here. So we had the Bills there. First Super Bowl contender team on my list for the day. Next, I have a team close to my heart here. This is the Carolina Panthers, all right? Carolina Panthers, I think they did it right. I mean, if you take a look at the defensive ads they got, Devin Lloyd, Jalen Phillips, those are huge. Those are huge additions, and I think they're additions that are going to make the defense that next step that they were missing, right? I don't like that they lost Rico Dowdle. That's probably the biggest thing that they lost that I don't like because just Chuba Hubbard isn't good enough, and I don't know that Jonathan Brooks is going to be ready to play football in 2026. We don't know if that knee's even, usable. He hasn't really played much of football. So I do like these additions. The scratch and losing one of their top running backs, I don't necessarily love. I am going to put them, though, because of the division that they are in, boys. We are going to be putting them in the potential wild cards. I think they are a potential wild card again for the 2026 season. I think the addition of Devin Lloyd specifically is going to be huge. And then hopefully Jalen Phillips, as long as he stays healthy, he's a very good edge rusher. Coming up next, we got Chicago, the Bears on the board. The Bears, the moves that they made, not the greatest ones. They kind of cleaned house on their entire secondary. All the safeties leaving. We acquired one of them here in Pittsburgh. Hometown boy at that. But they did sign a couple replacements. Kobe Bryant coming over from the Seahawks. This is a guy who just won a Super Bowl with the Seahawks. He's going to get overpaid a little bit. 3 years, $40 million. I think it's a drastic overpay, to be completely honest. But he's going to fill in one of those spots. They brought in Neville Gallimore. Now, he's played for the Patriots. He's played for the Colts. Last on the Colts, he was pretty decent over there. Pretty good on the pass rush. All right in the run defense as well. I don't mind Neville Gallimore that much. It's a good addition. They also brought over a former first-round pick of the Pittsburgh Steelers in Devin Bush. recently playing for the Cleveland Browns. Devin Bush, pretty great IDP defensive player for fantasy football, folks. If any of you guys do IDP fantasy football, dog, he is great. We had Luca saying Commanders Super Bowl favorites. I don't know about that, Luca. That's hopeful, brother. Put the Broncos #1, Alvaro says. You know what, dog? When we get to them in a couple picks, you're going to find out it's not going to be that bad. Cardinal says, oh, hell no. Josh Allen turns the ball over 4 times in the playoffs every year. Cardinal, you're not wrong there, brother. That was a slight shot, but I mean, it's true. It is seriously true. And Gabriel says, as a Falcons fan, shouldn't we be in the missing the playoff section since we're expected that? I think you're mediocre at best, bro. And the reason why, just to catch up, Gabriel, I think that the reason why you guys are in the mediocre at best is because you're going to be playing both Tua and a mixture of Penix based off of Penix's health. And that's wishy-washy to me because we didn't see a lot of greatness out of Tua before he inevitably lost his job with Miami. So that's why I have you in the mediocre at best for now. We were talking about the Chicago Bears. They did re-sign Braxton Jones, and they brought over Khalif Raymond from the Lions as well. But if I'm giving them an honest grade of where they'll be in 2026, because of the lack of defense here now. They lost so many defensive pieces. Now they do have an extra second-round pick from the Bills. It's late in the second. I'm going to put them in missing the playoffs. I think they're one of the teams from this division that misses the playoffs. This is a stacked division. The Vikings should be better with Kyler Murray this season. So this is why I think maybe the Bears take a tiny step back. Ben Johnson doing great. He does have that offense rebuilt, but the defense looks like it has missing pieces everywhere. They played middle linebackers from the free agency all season long because of injuries. So I just don't see them making the playoffs this season. Let's see what we got in here. Sean, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it, brother. Welcome to the family. Bad QB play. What up, Ben? My co-host is in the chat. What up, brother? Glad to see you're in here, dog. We're doing a little mix. If you see, we're on YouTube as well, guys, where you have the full screen. You get me and you get what's on the screen here and the whole screen. I apologize. TikTok just hates us if I go live from our studio. I don't know. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't. That's valid, but hopefully things will be all different. Knowing my team, though, it'll never change. We will see, Gabriel. We will see. Keep your head up, dog. The Falcons have a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff on the team. One of the best running backs in the entire league and a good tight end and wide receiver as well. LG, my boy in chat, has just put up. That's why he's a great mod, dog. This is why he's a great mod. One of my original viewers. He just said, you know what? Guys, check out the Discord link in the bio. You get all the stuff for free. Everything that the Wombo Combo Show does, you get for free by just joining the Discord. Links in the bio. Madden leagues. We have fantasy baseball leagues we just started this week. I don't even know anything about baseball, but I'm doing it because that's what the fans want to do. It's going to be a great time. Join the Discord. Check it out. What team are we on? I'm losing track of where I am and who I am. This is the Wombo Combo Show, and we're on the Bengals. My boy Sketty isn't here today, but if he was, he would be going nuts for this one. Where do I have the Commanders? They should become... Actually, you know what? The Commanders end up being last, Luca. But don't worry. I talk so fast. We're going to be getting through these quite quickly, brother. But the Bengals... We kind of talked about this in our Discord voice chat last night. Make sure you check out the Discord because it's fun. You get to have these conversations with a bunch of different football fans from across the United States and the world every single day. But we're talking Bengals here. Bengals, Boye Mayfield, extremely overpaid. Like massively overpaid to come play for the Bengals. They also got Brian Cook. I do like Brian Cook. I think Brian Cook's a good addition to the team. Played for the Cincinnati Bengals, the Kansas City Chiefs last. They also got Jonathan Allen. This is a veteran. And I mean a vet. This guy used to play for the Commanders, who Luca is talking about there in the chat. That was his prime days, right? He just ended up playing for the Vikings last season. Wasn't the greatest. Wasn't the worst, though, either. Great in the run stop still. If I'm giving them a grade when it comes to the full free agency, I'm going to go with like a B. But if I'm giving them a 2026 outlook, they're going to be mediocre at best. Boye Mayfield, Brian Cook, those don't move the needle for me, especially when you lost a guy like Trey Hendrickson. Yeah, come on. No. It's just not looking good. What are you doing? You should have spent all your money on defense, and now they tried, but they don't have any because they spent it all on 2 wide receivers and a quarterback. Next on the list, the other team from Ohio. This is the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland Browns cleaned house on the offensive line this offseason. They did re-sign one of them. That's Jenkins. He got a new contract coming back. Was previously a Ram, now playing on the Browns. They also went and acquired Elgton Jenkins. So there's going to be two Jenkins playing on their offensive line. He's coming over from the Green Bay Packers. This guy is awesome. I think he's really good at football. To be completely honest, he is a great interior offensive lineman. I think this is a steal of a snag. 2 years, $24 million on that. They also got Quincy Williams off of the Jets. I don't really love Quincy Williams. I'm just going to throw it out there. I think his brother's way better. I don't think Quincy's very good at football. I mean, this is an okay signing, 2 years, $17 million. This is a prove-it deal for him. Also signing Zion Johnson. This is an offensive guard most notably known for losing his shoe during a football game. That tells you how good he is at football. He's most known for losing his shoe in a game. And where are we going to put the Cleveland Browns for this year? I don't think they're in the first pick contention. I actually think they are going to be young and intriguing. If you look at the offense, though, the offense is going to have Sanders, it's going to have Judkins, and it's going to have some young wide receiver coming in the top of the draft. I think they pick 6, the Cleveland Browns, maybe 5, somewhere in there. But I think they are going to do something big in the offensive realm. B for the free agency grade, but still young and intriguing for the Browns. It's better than what they could be, which is the first pick contention. I think they've moved up from that category. Guys, let me know what you think about that. Blake says, Broncos Super Bowl. I think maybe. Hope of Universe says, Giants 7-10. I think the Giants are going to be pretty decent this season. I don't think they're going to be amazing. Sean says, Giants, I feel, have potential wild card. Sean, I like your vibe there, brother. I think you're kind of in the right mindset there. The Bengals did. We had the 7th most cap space before free agency. The Bengals did, he says. Yeah, and I mean, you still got it because nobody wants to come play defense for the Bengals, unfortunately. Anyways, let's get back. Caught up on the comments there. It looks like my co-host Ben's having conversation in the comments anyway, so I'm late to the party to them anyways. Let's get to the next team. That's the Dallas Cowboys, quote-unquote America's team. I don't think they're America's team. I don't even know if anybody really likes the Cowboys who actually likes football. Anyways, I digress. Let's take a look at what they did this offseason. Went and tagged George Pickens. He obviously doesn't like that. They're trying to work out a deal for the upcoming season. I'm really hoping that for George Pickens' sake that they go ahead and do that. Now, they did do a lot of trading as well, which I thought was crazy. They traded away Solomon Thomas to the Tennessee Titans. They acquired, Rashad Gary. Man, I was like, I can't think of the guy's name. Rashad Gary. They acquired Rashad Gary from the Green Bay Packers. I think this is a great addition for them. Putting him alongside with the other Green Bay Packers defensive lineman that they traded for mid-season, or prior to the season last year. Sorry, falling apart mentally at the moment. They also acquired Jalen Thompson, and I think is one of the ones that I wanted to highlight is one of their biggest additions for this offseason. I think that Jalen Thompson is going to be amazing for them in the backfield. He's a great safety. He played with Budda Baker over in the Arizona Cardinals defense. Now, obviously, being on the Arizona Cardinals, he didn't receive a lot of spotlight. So I think that he will do a lot better here over in the Dallas Cowboys defense. I think there's going to be a player that, if you do IDP defenses, Jalen Thompson, who was already good for the Cardinals, is going to be even better for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, they did some other stuff too, trading away Osa Odighizuwa. I don't necessarily know why they did that. Maybe moving off of the 3-4 big man middle and maybe moving more towards or moving off of 4-3 and moving into 3-4, sorry. But maybe that's the move for their defense. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't really seen any remarks as to whether they're going to do a full makeup change there. But based on the fact that they traded away their interior defensive lineman and acquired a different edge rusher, it would appear so. It would appear that they're looking to go more 3-4 than 4-3 in their defensive scheme. What would I give them for an offseason grid? Kind of because it's confusing. I would probably give them a C so far. We're going to have to see what they do in the draft. They don't have a third-round pick. That belongs to the Pittsburgh Steelers. They obviously picked up some later-round picks by trading away those defensive linemen. Where would I put them for a draft for this, our rankings here? Are they a contender? Are they a playoff team? I think they're a potential wild card team. I think that they make it no farther than potential wild card as of right now. The defense is still really, really sus. in my opinion. That was their big problem last year. We all know that the Dallas Cowboys put up 1,000,000 yards on offense. As long as Dak stays healthy, as long as that running back room with Williams is able to produce yards and keep the pass game unpredictable, I think that they are not going to have a problem on offense at all. I think it's whether they can rebuild the defense after the departure of Micah Parsons is going to depend on this next upcoming season, just like it did last season and failed. So that's where I have the Dallas Cowboys for the time being. They're going to be a potential wild card team. C grade for free agency. Moving down to my next team, that's going to be the Denver Broncos. A lot of you guys have been talking in the chat about the Denver Broncos and saying that they should be a Super Bowl team. For me, I think that they're probably the Super Bowl favorites. To be completely honest, I think that they are probably the Super Bowl favorites. If they have a good relationship between Bo Nix and their head coach, and Jalen Waddle comes in and plays lights out like they're expecting him to, especially with all that draft capital that they gave away to acquire him, they are definitely Super Bowl favorites. I think their wide receiver room is as good as the Rams. The Rams, who I think probably have one of the best wide receiver rooms in the NFL when it comes to just overall talent. But let's take a look at some of their free agency ads here. I'm going to give them a C in free agency basically because they didn't really do anything. They didn't go out and sign a single free agent. They re-signed some players to their team and then made that Jalen Waddle trade that I did mention a moment ago. But when it comes to players that they re-signed, they got Alex Singleton back. I like Alex Singleton. They got J.K. Dobbins back. I think that's wishy-washy. He obviously gets injured every single season. But you have a very, very deep running back room on the Broncos team. So I think it's going to be okay to bring back J.K. in a veteran bridge role. Maybe playing the first down role. Maybe leaning out on second and long. And then third down, obviously, it's not going to be his ball. It's going to be R.J. Harvey's. They also brought back Justin Strnad. I like Justin Strnad. He's one of their special teams guys. Plays linebacker, but, I mean, he's just a really fast downfield runner. I like him for the special teams aspect. Grade C. We got them as Super Bowl favorites. They are, and I believe that. Next team on the list, alphabetically, you know how we do. It's the Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions, I hate. I hate what they did. I absolutely hate what they did. Trading away David Montgomery and then replacing him with Isaiah Pacheco was horrible. I do not like Isaiah Pacheco. I don't think he's a very good running back. He was a 7th round pick for a reason. He hasn't been good in like 2 years since he got injured. I don't think he's going to completely ever recover from that injury. I'm not throwing shade. I'm just being realistic. I don't really like Isaiah Pacheco at all and don't think he's going to replace David Montgomery in the same effect and with the same volume. The only other signing that they really had that was worth noting is Cade Mays. This is the center who was on the Panthers. He's moving over to the Detroit Lions. They're trying to build a good offensive line over here. And that is their main goal, is to rebuild the offensive line. Grade for free agency, D. They're getting a D. I hate what they did in free agency. I'm not going to lie. But where do they go? I think they are a potential wild card team. Wild card at best, folks. I don't think they go any further than the wild card this year. I mean, there's just too many missing pieces. They're kind of like the 49ers where they're like always injured across the board everywhere. So that's where I have them for this year. Potential wild card guys. I don't see them being a real actual playoff team. I think that there's other teams in their divisions that have better chances than they do. And that team is next, Green Bay Packers. Making a couple trades this offseason, okay? They obviously got rid of Rashawn Gary. We talked about that a minute ago with the Dallas Cowboys. They also went and acquired Zaire Franklin. I like Zaire Franklin. I know he's older, but he's a great linebacker. He's led the league in tackles multiple years. I do like him a lot. And he's going to be playing alongside a lot of really good defenders on this team. He's going to be replacing Quay Walker specifically on that defense. Do I like the other moves they made, though? Not so much. Benjamin St. Juste sucks. Not gonna lie to you, he sucks. Javon Hargrave, he was good 7 years ago. These aren't good signings, in my opinion, in any way, shape, or form. Now, you were going to cut Gary anyways, so trading him away, I'm not going to count against you. And then you got rid of Colby Wooden in that trade. I'm giving you a D. To be completely honest, I'm giving you a D, but the team is good enough that you're still a playoff contender in my book. That's just how I feel about it. Buffalo as Super Bowl contenders, they are a Super Bowl contender. Yeah, I think the addition of DJ Moore is going to be great for them, Mask. Absolutely. Where do the Giants go, Bobby? We're gonna have the Giants coming up in just a sec, brother. Luca, can you do the Commanders real quick? You have practice. Yeah, we can do the Commanders real quick. Real quick for you, Luca, because I know you were hanging out, dude, and you really did want to. You asked me a couple times about it. I want to make sure that I get it for you. So we'll do the Commanders real quickly for you out of line. They got a Meek Robertson this season, dude. I do like a Meek Robertson. I think he's just a little bit slow and injury prone, but he plays a great nickelback position. Re-sign Marcus Mariota. I think that's a great move for them. He plays well in their offense already. He's a great backup quarterback. They got Odafe Owe. I think that's one of their best signings. They think they a little bit overpaid, $25 million a year, 4 years, 77 guaranteed on the end of that. But for me, I mean, getting Tim Settle back, okay, that's all right. Leo Chenal was a great ad. That is probably Leo Chenal, and then the secret sneaky one. I don't want to mess up his first name, so I'm just going to say his last name. Chase Song, the edge rusher. They're both amazing. I mean, Leo Chenal in the pass game and then Chase Song off the edge are going to be awesome. And then to just put like a cherry on top, you add the Colts safety, Nick Cross. He's great. I mean, Nick Cross was probably one of the top free agents out there, in my opinion, that you would wanted to acquire if you're trying to rebuild your defense. I think that what they did over in Washington was awesome. Last thing, offensively, they added Chig Okonkwo. I love Chig Okonkwo. I think that the Titans made a huge mistake not bringing him back. He's going to be a big part of that offense. I mean, when we get to fantasy football, folks, Chig Okonkwo is going to be a name that you want to add if you don't have a tight end coming up in round like 11. Chig Okonkwo. He's going to save you. I promise you that. For the Washington Commanders, what am I going to give them for grades? I'm going to give them a potential wild card. Now, coming off of the horrible season last year, Daniels, is he completely healed? We're going to find out. All that stuff is up in the air. So for now, I'm going to put them in a wild card potential. I don't see them maybe missing playoffs. I think this might be a rebound year. They are definitely, I'll tell you this, they are either potential wild cards or they are mediocre at best. And we're going to find out based on the health of their quarterback coming up here in 2026. Where they go in the draft, I really hope that they get a running back in the draft. That team is missing a running back and missing some key wide receiver positions too. So hopefully they are going to attack those here coming up in the draft. Let's get back on track though. Last team that we did was the Green Bay Packers. Luca, appreciate you, bro. Welcome to the family. Glad you're following. Glad I was able to get that in for you really quickly, too, dude, before you had to go to practice. Oh, always willing to help out the fan, you know what I mean? If you're going to be here and watch the show, but you're going to miss your own team, I'll help you out. We'll figure it out. Anyways, let's get back on track. Let's get back to where we were. We were halfway through our list here today, and we have a team coming up that made some pretty big moves this offseason. But anyways, we were on Houston, right? Yeah, we were on the Houston Texans. That would be next alphabetically. Sorry, I didn't get my brain to work. The Houston Texans, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I don't like a lot of what the Houston Texans did. If we're going to be completely real, I think the only thing that I like that they did is they acquired David Montgomery for, offensive lineman they were going to cut. A kid from Penn State that they sent up there. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but I mean, that's what they sent up there along with like a 4th round pick. They went and acquired Braden Smith, tackle, right tackle. I think that's good. Reed Blankenship, I don't really know that I think Reed Blankenship is like a top tier safety to be like super happy about acquiring. Because other than that, they really didn't acquire much at all. They re-signed Sheldon Rankins. They signed Ed Ingram. That's it. That's like been their entire offseason. And you already know, if you're a Houston Texans fan, that the big problem is nobody can protect C.J. Stroud so he can do anything. And you really didn't do anything other than signing a right tackle whose primary job is to be a right tackle for the run game. This doesn't seem like you're doing the right stuff. I'm going to give them a B-. I'm not going to lie. I do like Braden Smith and the trade that they made for David Montgomery. But everything else is just like, bro, what are we doing? Blandtown. Could be a C. Where do I think they fall this year? I think that they're going to be a playoff team. That defense is just too good. The defense is what holds that team together. They're like what the Pittsburgh Steelers would be if their defensive players that they pay millions of dollars to were good. Yeah. Shout at the Pittsburgh Steelers, but they're my team, so I'm allowed to do that. Next on the list, I got the Indianapolis Colts. They're next alphabetically. We talked about the trade a minute ago. They acquired Colby Wooden in the trade for Zaire Franklin. That's not bad. They overpaid for Alec Pierce a lot. Let's be honest, guys. Alec Pierce ain't worth 4 years, $116 million. I actually looked it up on PFF, and they only predicted he was going to make $96 million. So he got paid $20 million more than expected. I think that the deal is they wanted him, so they paid to keep him. And I know the Colts fans, because there's some of it in our Discord that you should join. Link is in the bio. It is completely free. You should do it. Tons of activity in there. Do it. Just do it. Anyways, they were very happy about it. They loved that they were keeping him. So, I mean, from a fan base perspective, it's a W. From a outside of the Colts organization look, it's like, dang, bro, you really wanted him that bad, bro? I think it was a major overpay. How are the Bengals? Mediocre at best. Best offense in football. Any kind of better defense this year. Steve, dude, they're mediocre at best, cuz. I mean, let's be for real. Bengals, they pay all their money to like 4 players, and those 4 players can't win them football games because they're all on offense. Having the best offense, which I don't think they have the best offense, just to be clear, isn't going to win you anything. Just so we know. That's how I feel about it. You got to have a defense to be good at football. But anyways, we're talking Colts. We're talking Colts grades. Other things Colts did, they traded Michael Pittman to my Steelers. I don't necessarily hate that. I don't necessarily love that. It was very cheap for the Pittsburgh Steelers, so I'm not going to hate on it on the Steelers' perspective. And on the Indianapolis Colts side, they needed to clear money off the books, and Michael Pittman was the guy that they did to do that. So I give that whole trade like a C-plus grade. Another addition, the one that I really wanted to note out, was the Arden Key signing for the Indianapolis Colts. I think Colts fans, you're going to see this kid come off the edge a bunch this season. He's going to stop the run on the edge, and he's also going to get to the quarterback. You're going to find out that Arden Key is a great football player. Played for the Raiders, also played for the Jaguars, was pretty good on both. I think he's coming from the Titans, was his last stop. Also, obviously, we have to mention it. They got Daniel Jones back. He re-signs. The contract is 2 years, $88 million. I think that's another little bit of an overpay as well, $44 million a year that Daniel Jones. I know he did good last season. I understand, but still, it is Daniel Jones. I have the same feeling about Sam Darnold, and he just won a Super Bowl, folks. Why do you think the Bills will be Super Bowl contenders? Aiden, I think that the reason why they've moved up the list so much is because of the acquisition of a real wide receiver in DJ Moore. You have DJ Moore and Khalil Shakir. I think that's a great pairing. And then you have the tight end as well in Dalton Kincaid. He has the people in the field to throw to now. Harry, yeah, we're going to get to the Steelers, brother. Ravens on top, 0 limits. I don't think so, man. And my co-host, Ben, popping in with a comment real quick. He says, love getting Pittman, especially since they gave up basically nothing for him. That's where I'm at on that. You believe in Josh Allen. I don't necessarily believe in Josh Allen, bro. I believe in what they have on the field now. I believe that they have enough talent that he should be able to not be the key focus and the reason why they win or lose. DJ Moore is going to take some of the pressure off of Allen. I believe that. Colts, though, where are we putting them for this year? I'm giving them a C grade for the offseason for overpaying. And where do I think they land in this list? I think they're a potential wild card team. I think that the Texans still have the upper hand on them. I don't think the Jaguars are going to be an upper hand team. They're who's next on my board coming up. They didn't really do anything when it comes to re-signing players or bringing in free agents at all. The Jacksonville Jaguars re-signed cornerback Mondrick Brown. That's it. Now, he's their fourth cornerback as well. So, I mean, he's going to be obviously moving up. He's going to be playing. He played towards the end of the season. But Mondrick, I'm not even sure I'm pronouncing his name right because he's a not very big name player, making 3 years, getting 3 years, $33 million. They didn't do anything. They lost Etienne. What do you want from me? They're getting a bad grade. D for the Jaguars. Where do they end up this year? Mediocre at best, bro. Mediocre at best. Travis Etienne was one of the big reasons why that offense turned around because he turned around his play, and that turned him into a big money contract free agent this offseason going back to New Orleans. So, I don't know, Jaguars, Duval, you need to do something. I really don't like Bashal Tutin taking over your running back room. I don't think that he is the answer. Coming up next, we have the Kansas City Chiefs doing a little bit of the splash plays in this offseason, acquiring Kenneth Walker III. I don't really think Kenneth Walker III is the bee's knees. I think he's good. I don't think he is amazing. I'll give him great. Sure, he's the Super Bowl MVP. How can I really complain that much about how good he is? Because he did do that. But I just think he's inconsistent. They re-signed Travis Kelce the other day to a 3-year deal. I'm sorry, what? 3 years? I think the reason why they did that, guys, just for any of you guys who are like, yeah, that was crazy. Why would they do something like that? I think they're doing it to make those other years void years. So that he'll play this year and the other 2 years will be void years they could stack his money up against. Yeah, 3 years. I know. Ben says, what? Guys, those of you who are just joining in, check out the Discord link in the bio. Completely free. Completely free. We do all types of stuff. Madden League, Fantasy Football Leagues, Fantasy Basketball Leagues, Fantasy Baseball Leagues, General Football Talk. They're playing, what is that game called? Some sort of soccer car game all the time in there right now. I don't know what it's called. I don't play it. It's for the fans. Check it out. I beat somebody in chess last night. Terry, if you're in here, gotcha. Anyways, can we do the Titans? Yeah, guys, I'm definitely going to speed through the rest of them here. We got about 20 minutes left in the show, so stick around. We're hanging out. Rocket League. Thank you, LG. Yeah, I don't know. I don't play that game. Anyways, T-Law was a top 5 MVP this year, and he'll do it again. Young Habe, we'll see, bro. We'll see. Anyways, guys, let's get back on the list. Let's see what we got. I was doing the Chiefs, and I was talking about Travis Kelce. They also re-signed Tyquan Thornton. Tyquan Thornton really did kind of put it on for them. He didn't do anything in his previous job with the Patriots. Sorry, I forgot what team he was on there for a second. And then last but not least, they signed Alohi Gilman. I don't love Alohi Gilman at all. I don't know why these teams are all going after Alohi Gilman. I don't think Alohi Gilman's any good. He's slow and he can hit. Like, he can play middle line. He's a small middle linebacker playing in the safety position. Anyways, what do I give them for a grade? I'm going to give them a B- for the Kansas City Chiefs. And it's purely because I think that they did upgrade the running back room, getting rid of Isaiah Pacheco, who I talked, bad about earlier in the show. Kenneth Walker is an immediate upgrade, being the Super Bowl MVP. Where do I put them on our list here? I had to find them. I couldn't see them there for a second. I'm probably going to put them in a playoff team. I'm not going to actually. It's in between Super Bowl contenders and playoff teams. I'm probably going to end up putting them in a Super Bowl contender because I do think they are better than both the Houston Texans and the Baltimore Ravens. To be completely honest, I do. Baltimore Ravens. The more I think about it, I don't really love the Baltimore Ravens. I do think if they go after a running back like Nick Singleton in the draft, though, they could be a major factor. I think he could be a major factor for them. Next team I had on my board as we get towards the later half of them here, I got to speed through a couple of them. We have the Vegas Raiders. Now, they obviously acquired Teron Johnson that we talked about earlier in the show from the Bills. They re-signed Eric Stokes. They got Tyler Lindenbaum, which was the hugest of huge deals. They now have a great piece in the middle of their offensive line for Genty to run through. They also got Naylor. They a little bit overpaid Naylor. He's coming over from the Vikings to play wide receiver. Kwity Paye as well is coming over. They're keeping Max Crosby, so that's dope. So they're going to have Kwity Paye on one side, Max Crosby on the other. They also signed Malcolm Kuntz. He's a pretty good player as well, coming over from, I believe, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers was his last appearance. Quay Walker is a great addition, and the Kobe Dean in the middle of the defense. I love what the Raiders did with their money. I love what the Raiders did with their money. If I'm getting anybody a really high grade in this one, it is definitely going to be the Raiders. The Raiders, I'm going to give them an A. Just a flat A. I think the Raiders did really well. I think that the defense looks awesome. It's scary. They have a guy at basically every single position now. We're forgetting that they have Jeremy Chin playing safety as well. I like this team. I like what they did to the defense. We're going to find out if Mendoza is the answer. I'm going to move them to here. Mediocre at best. Because they're not young and intriguing. Because not a lot of their additions are young additions that they're bringing over. What do you guys think on this one? Do you think the Raiders are a young and intriguing? Do you think they're a number 1 pick contention? Do you think they're mediocre at best where I have them? Let me know in the comments. Maybe you can convince me to change them up. But for now, I think I'm just going to keep them where I have them. I think it's a pretty good selection there. Grade A for the not Oakland. I kept wanting to say Oakland. Las Vegas Raiders. I think they did great this offseason. Defense looks great, and they got a solid keystone piece in Tyler Lindenbaum in the middle of the offensive line. Next, their rivals, the Los Angeles Chargers. That sounds weird coming off the tongue, so I still think it should be San Diego. Anyways, re-signed Khalil Mack. I think that's an okay signing. He's getting up there in age, but bring him back for one more year, $18 million. Not terrible. They brought Charlie Kolar over, a tight end from the Baltimore Ravens. More of a pass or a run blocking tight end, but can catch balls. You've seen him out in the field. He wears that real awkward looking helmet. It's hard to miss him. So Charlie Kolar, not a bad, for what they try to do there in that power run offense, I don't think this is a bad addition. Cole Strange coming over, former first-round pick of Bill Belichick. He's going to be playing guard there, replacing Zion Johnson. They also re-signed Trey Pipkins. Trey Pipkins filled in the role at the tackle while their Joe Alts and Slaters were out for the season. What grade do I give them? C-. C- for sure. What is the problem with the Chargers? They can't seem to block in the pass game for Herbert, and they don't have great wide receiver play. Nothing about what they did changes that for me. They didn't do anything to fix that up. I don't love that. I don't love that. Charlie Kolar, that's what's going to help him? Come on, Chargers. Anyways, where do I put them on our list for what they're going to do this year? Mediocre at best. I think they downgraded significantly. I really think Herbert needs to go to a new team. If we're being real, I think Herbert belongs on a team that actually wants to win. Next up, team that plays in the same stadium with them there, that's the Los Angeles Rams. They traded for McDuffie in the offseason, and then they also went and got the other Chiefs cornerback in the free agency, signing Jalen Watson. I like what the Rams did. I'm not going to lie. The Rams are always doing this. They don't care about the draft. They would rather get their guys in free agency, lock up guys that they already have tape on. It's smart. I like it. They could also go out and get another wide receiver here in the second round of the draft and have a just even crazier offense than they already have. What grade do I give them for the offseason? I'm going to give them an A- because all they did is sign one guy and make a trade. Where do I put them here? Super Bowl favorites. Rams are Super Bowl favorites in my books, folks. Jamar says, we're the Titans. Jamar, I'm gonna get you. I'll get you the Titans, bud. Don't worry. I don't know. Are you the Titans, though? Joe says he's not elite, but isn't bad at all. If it weren't for the fumbles, he'd be respected. Oh, no, I don't know who you guys are talking about because this guy has said the same comment 4,000 times. Zay Flowers is who we're talking about. Zay Flowers is not bad. Zay Flowers isn't bad. He just has a lot of drops like you guys are talking about there. I agree kind of with that conversation. Getting into my next team, I got Miami Dolphins for you, boys. Miami Dolphins, let's be real. We just put them there. We don't even need to, this isn't a discussion, right? They traded Minkah Fitzpatrick to their rival Jets. Good for the Jets, not for them. Signed Malik Willis, who played a couple games pretty decently, and now he's going to be their starting quarterback, and they're paying him $20+ million a year. Smooth move. That's where I'm at on that. I don't really have anything nice to say about the Dolphins. I'll have a full 10-minute breakdown of the Dolphins coming up in the next couple weeks. I also, last week's show, had all the money amounts that the Dolphins are paying out this year. It's over 2/3 of their salary cap is being paid to people on other teams. Adios loco. No, Miami. Bad grade. F everything for the Miami Dolphins. F for everything. Moving into the next team, that's the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota Vikings stole James Pierre from the Pittsburgh Steelers. James Pierre, the cousin of Lamar Jackson. Very fast cornerback, plays good man defense. Not the greatest in zone blitz, but really good man defender. They also got Kyler Murray. I'm going to give them a pretty good grade here because they realized what the problem was, and the problem was JJ. JJ, no good. They picked the bad one. They got the bad apple out of that draft. And they went and got Kyler Murray, who I think, if you ask any defensive coordinator in the entire NFL, every single defensive coordinator is going to tell you that Kyler Murray is a big threat. And he always has been. He's fast. He still has a gun for an arm. Come on. Kyler Murray does not suck. I'm putting Kyler Murray in these Vikings. I'm putting them up there, boys. I'm putting them up there as a playoff team. I think this is a full resurge. They've already got everything. I mean, let's be honest. The defense is great. The defense is playing great. And then they've got Justin Jefferson and a whole offense filled with talent. They even got Aaron Jones to take a $5 million pay cut just to play for him again. I like what the Vikings are going to do. We're going to see. JPG says the Vikings are going to be horrible. I don't think so, bro. What team are you a fan of? I think that has to go based off of your fandom there. Guys, check out the Discord. Link in the bio, completely free. You can argue with all the NFL fans from all the different teams in there. We're a growing community in there. It's completely free. We've got a Madden League. We've got franchise leagues in there. We've got fantasy, basketball, football, baseball, the whole 9 yards in there. Check it out. Completely free. You're more than welcome to it, and we have a great community of people who hang out in there. But did I grab the Vikings? Yes, I did. I threw them on there. I think they're going to be a playoff team. Next, I got the New England Patriots, the losers of the Super Bowl, the number 2 team in the NFL at the end of the season. What did they do this offseason? They did some okay things. They got Elijah Vera Tucker coming over from the Jets. I think he is great. I think he's a great guard. Originally played for the Chiefs. They didn't need him. They sent him up there. Now he's moving over again up to New England. I like this addition. They also got Romeo Dubes. I think they overpaid Romeo Dubes, to be completely honest. When I seen Romeo Dubes' contract, guys, that is what made me feel better about the Steelers getting Pittman. Because paying Romeo Dubes 4 years, $68 million is kind of ridiculous. Especially for a guy who misses a good bit of time due to concussions. I mean, I don't know. I like Romeo. I think he's a good player. But I do not think he is worth $70 million over 4 years. That is for sure. What do I give them for a total grade? Signing Kevin Byard was pretty good too. Didn't want to make sure I didn't miss out on mentioning that. And then Jermonte Jones was an addition to the edge. He's more of a run-stopping edge than he is a pass-rushing edge. However, this trade, or this offseason, I'd probably give the New England Patriots a B+. Last year was their big year to spend all that money, right? Where am I putting them for this year? I'm probably going to put them in the Super Bowl contenders again, as long as they can get it together. Maybe some new wide receiver play through the draft as well. I know they got Romeo Dubes, but I feel like he's just replacing Stephon Diggs. You've got Douglas there. You've got Booty there. Maybe there's something else you can add. Maybe a Sadiq. Maybe he falls somehow to them. But they could use a little bit more on offense. Ramondre Stevenson, maybe somebody they should consider getting rid of as well. That's just my opinion. B grade for the offseason for this year. I think maybe I mentioned it before, but that's what I'm going to give them for a grade for this year. I'm giving them a B. Next team on my list, this is the Saints. A lot of you have been calling out in the chat. I always say it that way. John, I know that it's Dobbs, but I always be saying Dubes. It just makes me feel better to say it that way. And one of my best friends, his name's, we call him Dubes, so it just kind of runs off the tongue for me. Anyways, next team that I have for you guys, New Orleans Saints. That's my boy LG, our mod today. That's his team. And they did some pretty good acquisitions this season. Acquiring Travis Etienne, I think, is going to be great. Apparently, his name is Travis Etienne. Now I know. I'll call him Travis Etienne. John, this is your team too. Let's go. I think this is a good addition for them. I think he's going to play great alongside of whether it's Kamara or Devin Neal or whatever mix that they decide to keep there. I don't know about Kamara. I really don't think he wants to be there. But maybe he goes up to the Broncos. I don't know. Anyways, I think he's going to play well in this offense. I think it's going to be really great for Tyler Shuck. I like David Edwards. This is an addition at the offensive line. This guy comes over from the Buffalo Bills. I do like him. I think he's going to play great for them. I think this is something that they needed on that team. Noah Fant also coming over. I do like this as well. Get a fast tight end to play across the middle for you. You already have Juwan Johnson, your big target guy. Now you have Noah Fant as well. Kind of maybe playing a 2 wide receiver, 2 tight end, 1 running back look. That would be decent for me. The other addition that I do want to mention, Cade Ellis coming over from the Falcons. He was like their signal caller. I'm pretty sure he's the guy who had the green dot on the back of his helmet last season. So I think this is a steal of a grab for them. 3 years, $33 million for him. What am I giving them for a total grade? I'm probably going to give them a B, just a flat B. I like the Travis Etienne ad. It's a little bit confusing, though, given the fact that you have Alvin Kamara, who you just extended at the beginning of last season. Where am I putting them on our grand old list? I'm putting them on young and intriguing. I like Tyler Shook. I do. I don't think that I don't know how you Saints fans feel, but I don't take this category as a mark, as like a negative thing. I actually kind of think that's like a positive one. I'd be happy if I was getting put in there. You know what I'm saying? Saints hype for what? I mean, easy. If I was a Saints fan, I would be hyped for the fact that we took a second round quarterback, and this guy seems to be knowledgeable enough to toss the football around well. And we went and acquired Devon Valet from the Broncos for basically nothing, and he is playing very well. I mean, Valet played great for you guys to end the season. So for the Saints, yeah, they're getting a B grade. I think they're young and intriguing. I think they have a chance to really move forward in their division. It's a weak division. That's coming from a guy who watches a lot of Panthers football because I like the Panthers. I mean, I watch all football, but I mean, I pay more attention to the Panthers there. Yeah, but I think that they have a chance to really move up this year. I think that where they are in the draft, they'll move up at least 7 to 10 spots into the next season. I don't know if they're necessarily a playoff team, but I do think they're like a 7 and 10 team, maybe a 6 and 11. Somewhere in there. And 7 and 10 more likely, maybe even 8 and 9. I think they have a chance. I think they have a chance to put good things on the tape there. Next, a lot of you guys have been asking for this one. We're getting towards the end of the show here today, and I only got a couple teams left. Make sure that you guys take a second, smash a follow for me. It helps to grow the show. Me and my co-host, we do this completely for free. And the only thing that we ask is you give us a follow, tap, give us a like, check out our content. Let TikTok and YouTube and all these companies pay us. We don't need gifts from you guys. We just want your interaction, and we appreciate that. So make sure you do so. It really helps us out. But we're on the Giants. Giants getting a new head coach in Harbaugh, and he's going to bring some Harbaugh with him. Signing Isaiah Likely to a deal, and Patrick Ricard to a deal. Now, are those the biggest pieces in the world? No. But if you put Theo Johnson and Isaiah Likely on the field at the same time, what does this kind of give you the vibes of? The Ravens offense, where they played two tight ends. Okay, you get Likely, you get Theo Johnson, you have Neighbors, and whatever they decide to put at the other side at wide receiver, and then you've got Scatabo in the back and Tracy. You really have the things put together to have an offense behind Dart. We'll see what happens with the offensive line. Jermaine Illuminor was re-signed. I think he sucks. They went and got Greg Newsome. Now, this guy got traded halfway through the year. He went from the Browns to the Jaguars. Now he's going to be on the Giants 2 years. Oh, no, I'm sorry, 1 year, $8 million. So this is more of a prove-it deal for him. And then they got Calvin Austin. And now Calvin Austin is not the guy for the other side. I'm just going to throw that out there. I love Calvin Austin. Calvin, great times on the Pittsburgh Steelers. A deep threat, a speedster, a little bit short. He is not going to be the guy on the opposite side. It's got to be someone else, whether it's Slayton or someone they acquire in the draft. Nope, I can't think of another guy on their team who's any good. The kid from Tennessee sucks as well. What grade am I giving them for the free agency? I think I'm going to give them a higher grade than expected. I'm honestly going to give them a C+. I think that Isaiah Likely was overpaid, but I think that Harbaugh bringing a couple of his playmaker pieces over, and he knows that he sees talent in Isaiah Likely and knows how he can use him in this offense with Jackson Dart. I do like this. I'm giving them a C+. Where am I putting them for this season? I'm going to put them missing the playoffs. I don't think that they're there yet. I think they're close, but I don't think they're there yet. I mean, look at the secondary. The secondary cleaned house. Everybody left. They're all playing for the Titans now, basically. All the cornerbacks left. New head coach, sure, but what are we going to do on that defensive end? Just having Greg Newsome isn't going to replace all you lost. Also getting rid of Bobby Okereke as well. So what's going into the middle of the defense? There's a lot of questions for the Giants. The offense looks better. The defense does not. We'll see what they do. Well, I mean, that's the best I can say at this moment. We'll see what the Giants do with the draft. If they acquire a lot of stuff to go behind that great defensive line, I think that they have a chance to do something. But for the time being, I think they're going to miss the playoffs purely because they don't have a secondary to stop the pass game. Next team, same city, Jets. Jets got Minka Fitzpatrick for nothing. I think that was awesome. They acquired Joseph Osai. He blocked a field goal against the Steelers. That's the only time I can ever think that his name's been called ever for doing anything that crazy. He got 3 years, $12 million a year. I think that's absolutely nuts. They got Kingsley and Gambare. He's all right, coming over from the Green Bay Packers. They went and got Demario Davis back. Now, this is the guy who was on the team the last time they made the playoffs. So, Demario Davis, maybe a good addition. I'm glad that he's not on the Saints anymore. The Saints really needed to clean house on the old guys. So they got Demario Davis, and then they got David Oyamata. Or Oyamata? Onyemata? I don't know. It don't matter. That's who they're going to put on their defensive front. I don't necessarily love it. These are all Band-Aid players, if we're being completely honest. Even their quarterback trade for Geno Smith, bringing Geno Smith back, that's another Band-Aid. It's not good. The only good acquisition in the offseason outside of Minka Fitzpatrick that the Jets got is probably Nashawn Wright coming over from the Bears. He's the guy who had, I think, 6-7 interceptions last year. One of the top interceptors in the NFL. That's probably their best ad, to be completely honest. What grade am I going to give them? I know that my boy Pink is in here, and he's been waiting for this one. I'm going to give them a B- because they got Minka Fitzpatrick for nothing. Where are they at for this season, though? Wham! Right next to the Dolphins. They're going to be not good at all. They're going to be horrible. I know that Vinny, one of our Discord guys, is going to be freaking out when he finds out about that. But yeah, the Jets and the Dolphins, I think, are probably going to be the two worst teams in the NFL coming up in 2026. Next on my list, we're down to our last 6 teams. I got the Philadelphia Eagles. For the longest time, the Eagles hadn't done anything in free agency, and everybody was like, bro, poking them with the stick. Do something. Do something. And they went and finally did, and I think what they did is probably one of the best additions that they could possibly grab for their team. They got Tyreek Woolen coming over from the Seattle Seahawks, the Super Bowl winning cornerback. I think Tyreek is awesome. Tyreek Woolen is great. They got him for 1 year. It's up to $15 million. He's got some incentives surrounded his contract. I think that he's going to play well and get those incentives and be a Philadelphia Eagle for years to come. Where do I put the Eagles for this next season coming? I think that they are also probably Super Bowl contenders. To be completely honest, they have a great defense. They did lose a lot, but we all know that their GM, Howie Roseman, has the ability to acquire somehow one of the best players in the draft every year who falls. So, yeah. I'm giving them, what did I say for a grade? I don't think I gave one. I'm going to give them a C. I'm going to give them a C because they didn't really do much and they lost a good bit. But at the same time, I do really like the addition of Reek Wool, and I think he will replace some of the missing people in that secondary like Blankenship. Next, my team, Pittsburgh Steelers. Here we go. That's the next team on my list. What did they do this offseason? They've done a good bit of stuff. They went and re-signed Asante Samuel Jr. I absolutely love that. They traded for Michael Pittman Jr. They gave up I believe they gave up a 6th. And in return got a 7th and Michael Pittman Jr. You can't hate it. I will take it. It is an upgrade at wide receiver for the Steelers. Additionally, Jamel Dean coming over. I think this is a big ad. I think you put Jamel Dean on the opposite side of Joey Porter Jr., and it is going to be great. It's going to be a great time for the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. Then you add the addition of Rico Dowdle as now the running back 2 to replace Kenneth Gainwell. Rico Dowdle, I would say, is an upgrade at the actual running back position and only a smidge of a downgrade as a pass catcher out of the backfield if Aaron Rodgers returns and they run the same style of offense. I really like Rico Dowdle. I think that he could end up being the first down back, and then Jalen Warren actually ends up being the pass-catching back for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I really like this. My favorite ad, Jaquan Brisker. Guy grew up about 15 miles down the road from me. Pretty awesome that he's coming back to the Pittsburgh Steelers, coming over from the Chicago Bears. This guy is a great football player. He does get injured. That's okay. He played college ball with Joey Porter Jr., so there's familiarity in the play style there. I think this is a good addition for us. I think he's going to be playing some of that free safety, some of that floating strong safety position. I like it. I like it a lot. What grade am I going to give for the Pittsburgh Steelers? At first I was really not loving what we were doing, and then we kind of picked it up. I'm going to give us a B+. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to give us a B+, and I think that we're a potential wild card team. I don't think that we're necessarily a playoff team. We don't even know who our quarterback is, bro. How can I tell you that we're going to make the playoffs? We have to be realistic here. If it's Aaron Rodgers, and we all probably know that it's most likely Aaron Rodgers, I think that the Steelers have playoff team chance. But, they've lost in the wild card every time they've been in the playoffs for like the last 8 or 9 seasons. So they will be potential wild card. To this moment, that's where they stand, bruh. Niners are going to be pretty... I think they're like next, dude. Aren't they not? Yeah, they are. Bro, I got you. Here, TikTok wants me to prove that I'm a real person by doing some sort of puzzle that I can't see. Give me 1 second, guys. Come on, TikTok, bro. I'm clearly here. Thank you. All right, we're back. What's up, fam? Anyways, we're doing the 49ers now. Uh, Acquisitions, pretty good ones. Kind of weird, to be completely honest. Trading for a Diggy Zua, I didn't really see the Dallas Cowboys trading one of their good defensive players to one of their, in-conference rivals in the 49ers. So I think this is a good addition for the 49ers. They brought back Dre Greenlaw. Will he be healthy? Will he be the same player after that, injury, the one that we've all seen a million times when he's running onto the field? I will find out. I hope so. Dre Greenlaw, great player. But I do like the Diggy Zua edition. I like the Nate Hobbs edition. Nate Hobbs is a great football player. Used to play for the Raiders. Went up to the Packers this year. Didn't do the greatest on the Packers scheme. He's going to come down back into the Bay. Hopefully that's a good thing for Nate Hobbs. And then, yeah, like I said, the weird addition of Mike Evans. I don't know how Mike Evans necessarily fits into the 49ers scheme. I didn't really see Mike Evans ever leaving the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But here we are on a 3-year, $60 million deal to play in San Francisco. What am I giving them for a grade, guys? I'm honestly going to give them a B. I'm giving them a B. I like the Diggy Zua trade. I think that is a huge grab for them, and I like the Nate Hobbs grab as well. He's a very aggressive cornerback. You guys are going to see him getting hands on wide receivers and also putting hits on wide receivers as well. Where do I have the 49ers for this season? Guys, I'm probably going to be putting the 49ers in that playoff teams again. They are great. They have a lot of different players across the field who can do stuff for them. Whether they bring back Jawan Jennings at this exact moment, I'm not sure. Jawan really thought he was a $20 million a year wide receiver, and it turned out that none of the wide receivers were really getting $20 million a year like that. And so I think he overpriced himself. I think he's going to get a deal done. I think he's going to get some, 2 years, $16 million deal done. 16 a year, that is. But he overpriced himself, and I think that's why he's still floating out in limbo. They obviously have wide receivers on the team. Now, could they use Jawan Jennings back? He's one of Brock Purdy's favorite targets, absolutely. And I think that they most likely will. But until then, it's kind of up in the air on that wide receiver room. I don't necessarily love just adding Mike Evans. I mean, Mike played, like 3 games last year, bro? And he's my age, so yeah, I don't necessarily. It kind of scares me if they don't bring back Jawan Jennings. 49ers fans, you guys like Jennings? You want Jennings out? You happy he's gone? Yeah, they got Christian Kirk. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Grant. They did get Christian Kirk as well. He was a Steeler killer. Yeah, Christian Kirk isn't bad. I tell you what, I didn't have him written down on my list today, but you're right. Christian Kirk was also a good addition, and I will add that he makes the wide receiver room a little bit more well-filled. With losing Kendrick Bourne specifically, I think that he fills that kind of role of a wide receiver who can get open, a little bit shiftier of a guy, not necessarily the tallest, not necessarily the fastest, but a shifty athlete. So yeah, I agree with you there. That was a good call out there, Grant. I appreciate that. What's the name of the tier list? The tier list for today is just the Wombo Combos tier list, brother. What team? Ricardo, come on, chill. Damien, appreciate you for the stop spamming thing. Yeah, guys, it's hard to read your questions. I really, really want to, and I have mods in here to help me read your questions as well, but I can't if yins are typing the same thing a million times. While I'm at it, I have 3 teams left for the day, guys. 3 teams left. Go to the link in the bio. It's my Discord. It's completely free. Scott, thank you for the chilies. I really appreciate it. It's completely free, guys. Discord is free. Join it. It's got Madden leagues. We've got fantasy football, fantasy basketball, fantasy baseball, discussions. It's something that you want to be a part of. It's completely free. You don't have to do anything other than click the link and hang out. You can play video games with the guys. There's a bunch of different fans from every single team in there. So it's definitely something cool to check out. Do it. Not a lot of podcasts and stuff have things that are just free. Our stuff's free. Go do it. Anyways, let's get to our last 3 teams. Hopefully I hit the right button. I think I did. Yeah, cool. You guys can see it again. LOL. And I appreciate you guys who were tapping the screen for me today and sharing the love and sharing the show. I really do appreciate that. So we got the Seahawks. Super Bowl winners, guys. Super Bowl winning Seahawks. They re-signed Josh Jobe. They let Tyreek Woolen go. They let K9 go. They re-signed Rashid Shaheed. These are all things. I don't really think that what the Seahawks lost is going to damage them that much. I think that they go and acquire another running back, 2nd, 3rd round. Maybe that Washington kid out of Arkansas specifically is a guy that I could see them acquiring. and they moved forward. I don't think the K9 was other than in the Super Bowl specifically and some of the playoffs after Charbonnet got hurt, I don't think that K9 was the biggest factor for the team. I mean, they just locked up, what's his name, Smith-Njigba for years upon years. I think that's a better move, using all that money on him than any of it on K9 and keeping K9 around. They went and got Emmanuel Wilson. He played for the Green Bay Packers, so they did get a kind of filling guy. Wilson does not suck. He can run the football. What am I getting them for an offseason grade? I'm honestly going to give them a B-. I think getting off of Kenneth Walker is going to be a good thing. They're also going to get a compensatory pick next year for this. Whether that's a third or a fourth rounder, I'm not really sure what they'll end up getting, but they're going to get reimbursed for this and for Reek Woolen as well. I like this. So we're going to give them that B-, maybe C+ area grade. And where are they going to be in competition for next season? Well, I'm going to put them up there, not as Super Bowl favorites, but Super Bowl contenders. I think they can return to greatness next year. I think they got a little bit lucky with the fact that there was no elite quarterbacks for them to really get through towards the end there, specifically in the Super Bowl. I mean, you had Drake May, but Drake May, it was his first year. I'm not saying Drake May sucks or isn't elite, but I'm just saying that it was like, kid's first time being there, and if it would have been Bo Nix, it would have been the same situation. There was no, playing against Patrick Mahomes, playing against a Josh Allen, playing against, a veteran in like a Aaron Rodgers. I know he in Steelers, and that's not really the best example, but there was nothing like that against him in that realm. Next team we got, who is it? Is it the Titans or is it Tampa Bay? It's Tampa Bay because we're going in alphabetical order, bro. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they went and got Kenneth Gainwell. They're the winners of the Kenneth Gainwell Award. Whoop-de-doo. He's going to play behind Bucky Irving. Bucky Irving had Rachaad White there. Rachaad White is now on the Washington Commanders, who I think that's a better place for him. I think Kenneth Gainwell could have some play, on third down. He might be used by Baker Mayfield as a pass down guy. I really think that Kenneth Gainwell's best bet was to stay in Pittsburgh. I think that the offense that was built around him towards the end of the season was what would be best for him. Unfortunately, he took the 2 years, $14 million to go and play in a state that there aren't any taxes. So, I mean, good luck to him. They got Alex Anzalone. That was their other big ad. I really liked the addition of Alex Anzalone. And then they also added Muhammad, the edge rusher from the Lions, and then A'Shawn Robinson from the Panthers. I like those additions too. They're not splashy moves, but they're decent moves. I think I mentioned they brought back K. Daughton. I love Anzalone the most. If I'm giving him a grade, I'm giving him a C+. And where am I putting him for this year? I'm putting him in missed the playoffs. I just don't think they have everything. I think that this is going to be a year that you're going to see Emeka Egbuka really blow up. I think he's going to have a JSN level year where he just kind of goes from being, oh yeah, he's good, to, oh wow, he's really good. I think that's going to be his season this year. Aiden says, Colts down one. I don't know, bro. I don't know. I don't know about missing the playoffs. I think they're going to be okay. Jonathan Taylor's a dog. But yeah, that's where I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm giving them like I said, like a C+, B- grade. I don't think everything's amazing, but I think that the things that they added are value picks. Now for the last team, the last one I have on the board. This is the Titans. I think I like the thing I like most about the Titans is the two coaches that they went and acquired, because I think that they mixed Dable and I keep forgetting Saleh. I think Dable and Saleh together is a good combination. Dable obviously being the offensive coordinator, and then Saleh being the head coach. But they went and acquired Wan'Dale Robinson, who I think is an underrated wide receiver. I think he plays good in the slot position. I think it's going to be a good pass catcher for Cam Ward coming up in the next season. Cam Ward needed some better pass catchers. They tried to do it through the draft, and the guys they drafted just aren't that great. Alec Manor. He's not very great. I mean, Chamari DK, he's a little bit better, but he's more of a return man than he is anything else. So I like the addition of Wan'Dale Robinson. They also got Daniel Bellinger. So basically, they just went and acquired all the free agent giants that Dable could possibly get. I like Bellinger. He's not necessarily a big pass catcher. He got poked in the eye last season, and for some reason, after he got poked in the eye, just never caught a ball afterwards. But Daniel Bellinger, he's going to take Chigakonkwo's place. I don't know if that's the best move, but I mean, it is a bridge player for that position. I like the Wan'Dale move, like I said. Earlier in the show, I mentioned while we were talking about the Giants that they went and got Alontae Taylor and Cordell Flott from the Giants. So both of those cornerbacks coming down into this defense. We'll see how that plays out. I really like Alontae Taylor. Flott, He's okay, but he can get burnt in the deep field. John Franklin Myers brought over to shore up the interior of the defensive line along with Simmons. I do like that as well. And then Joshua Williams coming to play cornerback as well. They basically signed a whole new cornerback room through this draft. Also, getting rid of longtime cornerback Snead that they traded for years back. And then last but not least, getting Solomon Thomas that we mentioned earlier in the show from the Cowboys. What do I give them for a grade? To be completely honest, I'm going to give them a mid-tier grade. I'm going to give them a C. C+. We'll give them a C+ at best. They are trying to fill positions in a team that really needs basically everything. Other than Simmons and Ward, I mean, they don't really have much that's any good. So I think that this is the first move, bringing in some familiar faces in Solomon, in Bellinger, in Robinson, and in those cornerbacks. I think that's going to be helpful to this coaching staff to get this team back on track to where they need to be to have a future with Cam Ward. So where do I put them for this year? They're still in the number one pick contention, guys. I mean, let's be for real. They don't have much going on. They really don't. We'll see what comes up in the draft, though. I really think that they could be the team who goes after the Notre Dame running back Love. I think that they could be the sneaky guy to acquire him. Just to end the show today, guys, make sure, smash a follow for me. It's completely free. I'm live with my co-host every week. He's out working right now, so he couldn't be with me this week. It is completely free to smash a follow. We're live every single Tuesday. We're also live on Saturdays during the season. We're going to be live from the NFL Draft. I'm here in Pittsburgh. I will be there front row. Make sure that you're following for all the latest content that we have. We're on YouTube as well. Make sure you check out our YouTube channel. And then, like I said, if you want to be a part of a free football community, a sports community at whole, really, we talk about all sports, check out the Discord. Link is in the bio. You'll have the ability during fantasy football season to reach out to any of our mods or to me or my co-host for fantasy football questions, to bounce anything off of one of those guys. Also, all the different things we have, such as our fantasy leagues, our Madden leagues, and our discussion leagues. Check those out. Like I said, it's free in the bio. I hope you guys have a great week. We'll be live next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Until then, peace out. YouTube, you get a couple extra seconds because I have to click extra buttons. I hope you guys joined in. I hope somebody watches it. Leave a comment. Make sure you're subscribed. I love you guys. Peace out.